Well, hey there, gardeners. It's Katrina, and welcome back to my channel. Well, today I'm out here in my backyard, and I figured, this would be a good day just to come out and do just some basic garden chit-chat. We're not going to get into anything deep or major today. We're just going to talk about the basics on how to get started. Okay, so we are going to get started here. Just going to be talking about basics. One of the basic things that we can do is just getting started. I know sometimes it could be a little scary, because especially if you're a beginner gardener and you're not really for sure where to start. Well, listen, you do not have to have a big backyard. You don't have to have acres and acres of land. Only thing it's going to take is some dirt, some seeds, some water, and some sun. Simple basics that you need. So let's go ahead and get started today. Today we're going to talk about just getting those seeds planted. And I just have some simple potting mix here and some sales. And I don't know if you watched my previous video. I talked about composting, and prior to that, I did like a walkthrough through the Dollar Tree, and I picked up a few things. And the one thing I picked up, I believe this was at Dollar Tree, was just one of these basic seed starters, a reusable 72 cell seed starter. And I've already put in the potting soil. Another thing I picked up are these cute little gloves that I have on today. Yay. All right. And another thing I picked up was some of the seeds. Now you cannot beat this price. 4 for $1. 4 packs for $1. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be trying out some of the seeds. I'm not for sure if I've ever used Dollar Tree seeds, but I did want to take a moment to kind of see what kind of seeds they have, if they're good to promote, if we're going to give it the thumbs up or the thumbs down. So let's get started today. And I have a couple other things that's going to help me. I brought out just a simple pencil, and what I'm going to be using is the eraser side of the pencil to plant my seeds. Okay, all right. Another thing I'm going to be using are these little garden, I call them name tags, and I've already gone through and started some of the ones that I'm going to start with. So if you just have those basics, you can start in a pot, you can start in a raised bed, you can just start just by planting a couple things in your front yard or in your side yard, your backyard, just finding a little plot to use and just get started. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. And some of the things with gardening that I'm finding, it's trial and error, just basic trial and error. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I planted last year, some of the seeds that I planted last year, after we go ahead and get started. Okay. All right. So as I showed you, lettuce, and this is actually from the Dollar Tree, as you can see, for $4. And this is Grand Rapids lettuce. Now last year, lettuce did very well. I started it out kind of like at the cooler season, kind of like right about now. Getting started, I planted like some cool weather crops, just like my lettuce. I think I had, I planted some beets, I planted some spinach, things like that, just to get started. And then after that came up, I ended up planting other things inside that raised bed. Okay, so once you grab your seeds, if you're a beginner gardener, if you're really not for sure, I want you to flip the seed packet over to the back, and it's going to give you a lot of information. And this is going to tell me it's going to take 5 to 10 days to germinate. It wants me to plant them, to sow them about 1/4 inch deep. So that's why I have this pencil. What I'm going to be doing, and this is about 1/4 inch. So that's why I like to use this. So I am going to take my pencil eraser, And I am just going to, see if you guys can see this. I am just going to go down about 1/4 inch deep where I'm going to be dropping my seeds. Not that deep, because we want them to be able to not have to fight to come up, okay? Just basics. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your seeds and you're going to put maybe about 2 or 3 seeds in each cell, okay? And that way you can kind of thin them out. Now these lettuce seeds are super, super tiny. So I am going to try to kind of guess my 2 or 3 seeds. Okay. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to take that and cover them up. Just lightly with a little bit of soil, okay? And then what I like to do is I like to take that name tag and pop it right there in the seed cell. Now the best thing I think there is to do, now the top of this broke off, so normally you would have something that wouldn't provide as much water as I'm going to show you, but if you have a spray bottle, just go ahead and spray these so they're nice and damp at the top and you're good to go. But I am going to use my watering can and I'm going to try to put a little bit of water onto these seeds to get them started, okay? That's too much. 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 Okay, but you get the idea of what you're going to need to do, okay? So that's how you get started with your seeds. And you want to, now here in Ohio, it's still pretty cold. It actually snowed the last couple days. Prior to that, it rained pretty good for a little bit. So we're still getting pretty cold weather. So if you live in a northern state and you're still getting pretty cold weather, it's probably best for you to keep these indoors, you know, until you can see them start to germinate. Once they start to grow up and you start to see the little leaves, if it's warm enough for you to go ahead and plant these outside at that time, then that's when you would do such, okay? All right, so that's just basic plant starting that anybody can do. And if you only had a little pot like this, you would do the exact same thing. Now, as you can see, these pots already have the holes at the bottom for drainage. So this will be perfect because you don't want your plants sitting in a pot full of water without any holes. That's a tip, okay? So make sure you're looking for that. So I want to show you or tell you some of the things that I planted last year, okay? Now these were my green beans. And what I'm going to do, I'm not gonna do it today, but probably on the next video, I'm going to be starting my green bean seeds. And I'm gonna show you some of the green bean seeds, okay? Okay, I'm gonna take these out. So here we have my green bean seeds from last year. And we got a pretty decent crop from last year. So we were able to save some of the seeds from the last green beans that came up. So this is what I'm going to be planting this year to get us started. And I have more than enough to get started, okay? All right. And last year, I'm gonna pull out some more of these seeds. Last year I planted spinach, onions. The onions did okay. We planted tomatoes. Now we had more than our share of tomatoes from last year. So the tomatoes did pretty good. We noticed at the end though that they had like a what is it called? Like a bottom rot to them. Some were coming up like that, but I think it's because we actually use too much fertilizer. You want to be careful with your fertilizer. We planted some turnip greens. We planted some green peppers. Now these actually, we had an abundance of green peppers. Now we eat a lot of green peppers, so you want to be planting some things that you know that you and your family are gonna eat. Don't just randomly, start fruits or vegetables and you know you're not gonna use them at all. Not unless it's something that maybe you're going to sell, maybe you have a vegetable stand, something like that, or maybe it's something that your neighbors and other family members are interested in eating and you know that it won't be a waste, but that will be wonderful. Another thing that I planted that turned out wonderful was our mustard greens, our collard greens, and I already told you guys about the Kentucky Wonder beans. Those work well here in our garden. Now, one thing that we did try, and I believe I purchased these seeds from Aldi, I believe. And I was trying to grow this table queen squash, and I believe we only ended up with 2, but I did try to plant it later just to see if I could grow it. So I have a few more seeds in this pack. I'm gonna try these out this year, okay? Another good thing that I planted last year was jalapeno peppers. Now we had an abundance of jalapeno peppers. So if you're a big fan, whatever you're a big fan of, that's what I want to see you planting this year, okay? All right, so I believe we did our little basic chit chat for today, and I hope there was something in this little chit chat to inspire you to get started, no matter who you are, no matter how much land you have, if you have acres, if you have a small yard, if you have a patio, if you just have a small pot, like I said, get started. Plant something. If it's nothing but basil, I have some basil here. Maybe it's just things that you want to cook with this year and you're tired of purchasing them. Yes, this is the year when things are kind of up and down as far as the prices are going. This is probably